Welcome everybody to our first CBIM interview. Today I have the pleasure to welcome Rafael Sachs. Rafael is professor at Technion University, and he's also the coordinator of the project. And so thanks, Rafael, for being available for the interview today. And maybe you could start off, if you could provide us a little bit background about the project. So can you tell us about the overall story behind the project and how it originated and how we got together in this amazing consortium?
Yeah, sure, Timo, and thanks to you for managing the interview. CBIM stands for Cloud BIM, and the basic goal that we have is to prepare a new cadre of excellent researchers in Europe for the area of Cloud BIM. Building information modeling in particular is one of the two paradigms that is changing the way we think about construction, along with lean construction. And as a technology, as a process, and as people engaged in BIM, it's really essential for Europe and for industries at large in construction to master the processes and the technology. And we always need to be moving forward and understanding what can be done and what should be done in the future. And so having a set of researchers who can go on to become professors, researchers, leaders in industry is essential for the broader society. The project itself, in its topic of Cloud BIM specifically, relates to the idea that we need to go beyond the use of individual computers and engineers and architects to create environments where they can collaborate effectively. Construction management, including design, procurement, and construction, is all about collaboration and communication. We're really trying to create a common cognitive idea of what the building is. And as such, BIM models are an essential boundary object that allow us to do that collaboration. And the more that we can unify the models to a single representation or a coordinated representation, the better we can do that and the much more efficient our construction will become. So moving BIM models from individual workstations into the cloud becomes a key component in that. And it's really not simple, which is why we need very powerful and intelligent PhD researchers to help us tackle it.
All right, thank you. So if you put yourself at the end of the project and you know, if everything would go really, really good, as you know, we are probably one of the leading BIM researchers in the world. What would be your expectations at the main contributions of the project?
Okay. Well, you know, there are a number of aspects to bringing Cloud BIM to reality. And they include, of course, technology. They include acquisition of models from reality capture. They include the modeling itself, the technological sharing of the databases. But they also include business models, procurement models, startup company definitions and their role in this. They include social issues, people issues. What kind of training will people require for doing this? And they also require protocols. So computer science-based protocols for sharing and locking models. And so I hope that we've designed the project as a whole to cover all those four different aspects. And there are 3 or 4 ESRs working, or early stage researchers, PhD students, working in each of those roles, in each of those areas. And I really hope that the overall contribution of the parts will be much greater than the sum of those parts, that the whole will present a step forward in implementing Cloud BIM that will be cohesive, comprehensive, and have a powerful impact on industry. And in our construction industry, especially in information systems, impact comes not only from individual construction companies or engineers, architects adopting software, but it comes from influencing the software companies themselves, the designers of those construction software tools, of the designers of the systems, the designers of the databases that sit behind them, the lawyers who write the contracts, the HR people who hire the right people, and so on. And so if we can have a cohesive, comprehensive impact on that whole ecosystem, including on the startup companies, then I think we'll have done a really good job. And perhaps, since the project is limited in time to 3 years, we'll only have time really to show the way rather than complete the effort. But hopefully we'll show the way.
All right. Well, thanks for your answer. This is great. So you talked about showing the way. Now, if you put us even further in the future, right, and you already said the C in the CBIM project stands for cloud computing. So how do you think this aspect of cloud computing will impact the industry in maybe the near or also the far future?
Okay, that's great. Good question. Well, I mean, in the 2 or 3 years that it's taken for CBIM to go from an idea in people's minds as a research project through formulation, submission, review, etc., approval, and finally, in the last year, we spent a lot of time in recruiting our ESRs. A lot has happened already. And so we see software companies developing their own cloud solutions. The leading BIM software companies are doing so already. But it's a very slow process. And although research has already shown us that the way forward is probably toward objects in the cloud rather than files, file-based systems, there's still a long way to go. And so I think that we will see in the short term within our research project, much more development of systems that are object-based rather than file-based. We'll see development of some of the protocols, and then hopefully that will be a step change that CBIM as Cloud BIM will contribute to the way that we use the cloud.
Could you say something more about your vision in terms of how, you know, this cloud-based and the object-based cloud functionality will change business processes in industry?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think none of us labor under the illusion that we will have some sort of unified, unitary model that represents everything to everyone. It's clear that different professions and trades understand buildings in sufficiently different conceptual ways that we need to maintain that diversity of ways and of representations. However, we do have far more AI tools these days that can negotiate among those different representations in the cloud. And so that although we don't have a single model, we may have federated models in the cloud of individual objects where the updating or the alerting is being handled in the background in automated ways using AI, using learning tools, using rule inferencing tools and other things. And that sort of negotiation in the background of what different changes mean to different people and what they represent in terms of the model and how they impact on the performance of the building, that's perhaps the area that we can contribute to.
Wow. That's a very strong vision. Thank you for sharing. I have one last question for all our viewers out there that see this video. They're probably very interested in how to get engaged with this project.
Right.
Can you tell them
well, I guess this is a question of concentric circles. So we have at the core the supervisors, the PhD supervisors and the industry supervisors, who are all the beneficiaries of CBIM. We have the 14 early stage researchers, PhD students. We have a group of 15 partner companies, not only in Europe, but around the world. And all of those create kind of a small community. And we would love to have others join that community. We will have PhD schools, which are open to the public. And we very much hope that other PhD students and other graduate students will join those schools. The first one will be held, well, virtually, but in Cambridge, in the UK, in December of this year. You can find a lot more information about that on our website, CBIM 2020, and on the various LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. channels that we're operating, thanks to you, Timo. You can also join in conferences. We will be very strongly encouraging our researchers to appear and give papers at ISARC, at CIBW 78, at EC3, at ASCE conferences, the range of conferences in the computing and construction community. And so you will be able to meet us and them at those events. And we will also have 2 dedicated CBIM conferences through the 3-year life of the project. And of course, the social media. So through all of those channels, we hope that you will engage.
Okay, fantastic. So yes, we hope that everybody will engage in many of these ways in the future with us. And thank you so much, Rafael, for this short interview. And
Sure, Timo.
yeah.
And perhaps we'll turn the table and I'll interview for one of the future blog sessions.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.